Hey, welcome back to my channel. This book review is for Someone to Kiss by Jamie Anderson. Now, there's two things I'll say about this book to start off, or this review. First thing is, this is my first book by Jamie Anderson. And the second thing I'll say is, I've read a dozen books since I read this one, and this is my first time making, any comments about the video, whether writing or making any comments about the book. But this book is like stuck in my brain. And in a good way. It was quite a humorous book. I loved our character. Okay? Now, she is not a young pup, not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, our character, Kate, is in her 40s, and she's never got married. And as the book starts off, she's attending a wedding, and she sees this couple in love and about to share vows and promise their future together. And it's almost New Year's. She makes a vow. By next New Year's, I will kiss at least one person. So, is she going to be someone who will be part of a couple in a year's time? And how is she going to go about it? Now, what I loved about, there was a lot of things I loved about this book. One of the things I loved about this book is Kate was snarky. And although I read this book, I felt like Kate was in my head. And as I was reading this book and hearing her snarky, sarcastic comments, I laughed out loud. I'm smiling now, even thinking about it 10 or 12 books later. Now, Kate has good friends. In fact, one of her friends is just beautiful and has everything she wants and gets any man she wants. And then there's Kate's friend's brother. He's important. And then we look at Kate's story. So let's talk about Kate's story. Kate felt insecure. And sometimes when people are sarcastic, it's a defense mechanism. And in Kate's case, maybe it was her insecurity, her anxiety. And even to the point where her insecurity felt like she needed to change herself to be more attractive to men. Okay? Now, I liked Kate's character. Now, I'm somebody who deals with body image issues, self-image, self-recrimination, so I could see a lot of the self-doubt that Kate had in this book. And then we had Julie's story, and we had Ben's story. Now, we know Kate is our primary protagonist, the one who wants to be kissed by next New Year's or New Year's Eve. But Julie is her best friend. Ben is Julie's brother, who is also a very good friend of Kate's. They each had a story in this book. Julie seemed to be this overconfident, gorgeous, beautiful woman who got anything she ever wanted, but she had a story. Ben had a story. Now, I want to talk about Ben's story, because although this book was a romantic comedy and it had a lot of laugh out loud moments, it also dealt, beyond dealing with Kate's insecurities and her self-doubt and her lack of confidence and all of that, it also dealt with Ben and his story and his fight with anxiety. And I'm not spoiling the book, but I do want to say something. When an author addresses issues that seem really far apart and can bring them together into a story, it for me turned this book into a 5-star read. Because while on the one hand, you're laughing at some of the antics that Kate gets up to, like speed dating and going on bad dates and online dating and failures in that regard, and her snide comments that she makes, like in her head or even mumbles to herself. But you're also seeing something that's going on with Julie, and you also see what's going on with Ben. So it added levity. It evened out the story. And it also showed that everybody is vulnerable to some degree or another. No matter how things look on the outside, we never know what's going on in someone's inside. And as this story, oh my gosh, I'm feeling emotional. I started off smiling because this book made me happy. But I'm also thinking about some moments in this book that punched me hard in the gut. And it was all about friendship and being there for your friends. And learning that you don't always know everything about even those that are the closest to you. And that's where I kind of feel a little bit emotional. And I'm not even going to tell you which character gave me that vibe. Another thing I wanted to mention is Kate had something right in front of her and never saw it. And that's what kind of made the story very, very, very sweet. I also liked that Kate wasn't in her 20s. She was in her 40s. I liked that age for this character. And then I liked the way that Kate and Julie's relationship was, any hiccups that they had in it, and how everything turned out in that regard. And then I also liked how things worked out with Ben as far as his fight with anxiety and how he dealt with it and is continuing to deal with it. I'm telling you, this was a very, very good book. And to be quite honest, I don't often give 5 stars to romances, but this one I'm definitely going to give 5 stars to. I definitely will. And I applaud our author, Jamie Anderson, for making a book fun, but also bringing in some very serious issues. Very serious. I won't tell you, I told you what one of them was, which was anxiety and recovery from anxiety. But there's another serious issue that comes up in this book, and to the author for making it so realistic and healing. So that is this book. Now, it's been out for a minute, but my blog tour isn't until the 16th. I think it's been out since like the middle of September. So I just got to it maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. And like I said, I've read a dozen books since then, but this book really, really got to me on many levels. So that is Someone to Kiss by Jamie Anderson. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited. I try to always tell you where you can get the book, and I definitely want to recommend this book. I'm just making notes on my, not notes, but I'm just, for some reason I never added this book to my Goodreads, so you can't even tell that I read it, but you can tell now because I just added it. So, long review, one of my longer ones. Sorry about that, but thank you for watching.